Formal review on my now main racket, the APACS Hard Hitter Pro 6.4. Before we get into the main review, as always, follow me. Drop a like, share it, save it, repost it, leave a comment, all that. Help the channel grow, man. I do these videos for free. Anyways, back to the review. Or if you watched my videos recently, you know how much I enjoy this racket. I mean, the fact it's already my main racket will already kind of tell y'all the verdict at the end. So, spoilers, I guess. But let's try to keep this as as neutral as possible while I'm reviewing it, so to speak. Hard Hitter Pro, even though its name has no relations with the Nanoflare 1000Z, is basically the Nanoflare 1000Z, right? You can look at the specs. When I went to APACS's headquarters in War in January and I told them I was using the 1000Z, they pointed out to use this racket, obviously for a reason, right? Compact head, they call it aero-wide frame, but it's just like an aerodynamic, like sharp edges, wide body. We've seen this build before, right? 305 millimeter balance point, plus or minus 3 mm, 6.4 millimeter shaft, as the name suggests. The only real difference is I think this uses slightly lower quality carbon. But APACS sources their carbon from Japan as well. But what I mean by that is I believe Yonex uses 50 ton, this is 40 ton. I might be wrong on there. I tend to get numbers mixed up. But the real feeling difference, right, is the shaft is more flexible. With that being said though, this is not a flexible racket. This is not a racket you can just give to a beginner or even most intermediate players, in my opinion, and they will have an easy time to use this racket. Just like the 1000Z, this is a performant racket, right? So you need to put a lot in it, but you're also going to get a lot out of it, right? So, however, with that being said, coming from the 1000Z, this is a much needed step down in terms of difficulty level, right? So maybe the absolute power ceiling is a bit lower, but the power floor, I like that term, I'll use that in my last review, is much easier to access, right? And for me, it's much suited for my current level and physicality and technique. I touched on this briefly in my Felet Woven 1000 review video. So now we've talked about the specs. Let's talk about, I guess, how it plays in the front court. So, the shaft being stiff, you're going to get crisp response, you're going to get solid feel, right? Consecutive shots in the front or anything fast and flat are not going to be an issue. Compact head is obviously going to be more maneuverable. You have less margin of error, but again, for me, that's skill issue. You're also going to get head weight. And I love that combination of head weight and a compact head. I always have. Since I discovered it when the 1000Z, it just feels so good to have speed and punch, right? Especially as a front player, being able to pop and then poof. I don't know if that made sense, but in my head that did. So it is going to be slightly more difficult to use than flexier rackets, as I've shown with a front court comparison drill. The Felet Woven 1000, you can audibly hear the kills in the front are much more loud and much more explosive. However, you can also see visibly the whip. You can also see the lack of control as well. For me, I prefer the control and the response of a stiffer shaft, and I feel like if I continue on my training journey, I will eventually get the whip in the front more consistently as well. So that's it in the front. In the midcourt, right? Great, right? 1000Z and this have very similar repulsion characteristics. The only real difference is this doesn't have that speed assist bumper. But however, I don't really, when I first picked this up, I didn't notice a big degradation in repulsion, if that makes sense. I wasn't oh fuck, there's no speed assist bumper, I can't drive anymore. That was not the case at all. It still feels lively, it still feels crisp. You still get the advantages of a stiffer racket, which is faster racket head reset times for drives, right? The touch on the midcourt blocks, cross, straight, whatever is all there. right? For me, the adjustment period was basically 0 coming from the 1000Z, so I felt right at home. You're not going to hear me say anything negative here. Oh wait, let me backtrack. So in the front, okay. So in the front on softer net shots, right? I feel like this has quite a bit difference in terms of touch and response compared to the 1000Z. And when I think about it, I mean, for me, I think it makes sense. Obviously, Yonex is the best version of this speed stick archetype. So I'm comparing the best to something that's not the best, or like second best or whatever. But for me, I really think the reason why there's a big noticeable degradation in like soft net shots, not long ones, like more singles types net shots, is because the shaft stiffness is not there. If you look at like my old footage when I was still using the 1000Z, it took me about a week or two to really dial in my single net shots here, and from then I was able to play like really good single net shots. For example, if the opponent plays like a cross drop in doubles, I was able to get it on my backhand and really get some spin and sometimes clip the net, right? Which is what you want. But still, I think I need more practice still. Like the response and the feel on the soft net shots, especially when it's below, like when it's on the bottom half of the net, if that makes sense, right? I feel like it just needs a little bit more finesse. Like I feel a little bit like numb sometimes. So I would ding that. That's like one negative thing. So sorry for the backtrack there. So now we were in the front court, then we were in the midcourt. We talked about drives, we talked about soft blocks, control. Yeah, I mean in the midcourt again, it plays like the 1000Z. At my level, it's flexible enough that I'm not struggling to generate repulsion, but it's also stiff enough that I have good control and I can really push against the shuttle and get some whip if I really want to play like a hard drive straight across, right? In the backcourt, obviously it excels. You know. I mean, it's in the name. They called it hard hitter. I mean, my smashes sound fantastic. I feel powerful in the back, right? I feel like I'm not absolutely useless or that I have to play super 3000 IQ all the time. Sometimes I can just be a monkey and just smash, because I know that I'm using a racket that's more suitable for my level. So I finally am a threat in the back, right? And I noticed this like in my game as well. Like I'm not in as much of a rush to the front now anymore. Like I feel comfortable playing the back enough now. Obviously, I still want to get my way to the front, but in my sparring and even in my last tournament, I was scoring points from the back sometimes as well, which I would give credit due entirely to the fact that I'm using a racket that is more in line with my current skill level and physicality, right? In terms of everything else, I mean, yeah, it's fine. Because again, I'm coming from the 1000Z, right? Drops are fast, they're fine, have no issues there. Slices are equally fine. Clears are fine. Half smashes are of course nice because you're getting a little bit more whip out of the racket. But yeah, this is a fairly straightforward review, as you guys can see. Alright, so I think the more interesting or the more valuable part of the review is going to be, where does this place among the various other speed sticks on the market? Particularly, where does this place among the other 1000Z copies? And I can say, out of the three I've tested, right, Woven 1000, OG Kills LD 1000Z, and then now the Hard Hitter Pro 6.4, this is the best by far, right? If you're looking for basically the 1000Z, but from not Yonex, this is it, right? This has the closest balance point. This has the closest frame construction. This has the closest stiffness, right? This has the closest feel, response, everything, right? This literally feels like a 1000Z with a flexier shaft, right? I need to get my hands on a 1000 Tour and see how this feels compared to the 1000 Tour, right? And the reason why I say this is better than the OG Kills LD 1000Z, this has better response, right? And the shaft on this is stiffer than the OG Kills version, which plays in that better response feel, but also I imagine this has better carbon as well, which also plays in that overall premium feelness, right? You can't really describe what good carbon feels like until you've tried mediocre carbon, if that makes sense, right? And I really think that that's why it's so hard for me to articulate why I feel this is a better racket than the 1000Z from OG Kills, because of that better carbon. With that being said, though, the OG Kills 1000Z is still like a recommended buy because it's priced much lower than this is, especially if you buy it directly from Taobao or whatever. But yeah, if you have more money, then if you have 1000Z is here in terms of price, right? Because it's the original, and OG Kills is like here because it's cheaper. If you have not enough money for the 1000Z, but you want to spend more than the OG Kills, I think this is it, right? And several people have asked me to bring them home one, and I have like six or seven 1000 Hard Hitter Pro frames in my luggage right now. You guys will be pleasantly surprised, right? I do not usually give this high of praise for a racket, but yeah, given its price, given it's my preferred archetype, so a speed stick, and it does it so well, great, right? Anything else to wrap this up? I mean, I don't think so. I'm gonna come back.